I remember growing up when I realized the power behind the words, "I'm sorry." For any of you who have siblings, I'm sure you are quite familiar with this ritual. So my brother and I will be sitting in the room playing, right? And having a great time. It's all good. But then after a while, one of us would get mad or get angry and we would start to fight. Things would escalate until one of us would start shouting out, "Mom!" Mom would come running in the room and we would start to plead our cases. But it didn't matter who was right. It didn't matter whose fault it was. The inevitable conclusion was always the same. Turn and tell each other you're sorry. Now, I can remember plenty of times that I said those words to my brother when I didn't mean it. But my brother and I both came to realize that if life was ever going to return back to normal again, we had to say those magic words. So "I'm sorry" became, okay, now we can go back to having fun and playing again. Which is perfect at that age because you don't get bitter. You don't hold grudges. You get your feelings hurt. You say you're sorry, and then you move on, and then life is happy again. As I got a little bit older, I came to realize that just saying the words wasn't going to cut it anymore. I remember being a teenager and my mom would start in on me and I would quickly cut her off and go, "Okay, Mom, I'm sorry." Well, now I've just doubled our conversation length. No, for the conflict to be resolved, I needed to listen to what my mother was saying. And at the end of that, I needed to produce a genuine, heartfelt, "I'm sorry." I had a friend growing up that would get into knockdown, drag-out fights with his family. And I mean, this was one of the kids that would just dig into their positions. Like, you send them to their room, and then they never ask to come out. They just stay there the rest of the night because they're not going to budge. He'd be grounded for like a month. And I would tell him, "Hey, just say you're sorry, man." But you don't understand. They don't ever listen to me. Well, even if that's the case, don't you think they'd be more inclined to listen to you if you would just apologize for that lamp you smashed? See, whether we're young or we're not so young, sometimes saying the words "I'm sorry" can be very difficult for us to do. We dig into our positions. We won't budge. But when we do that, oftentimes we make things worse for us in the long run.